Hi, welcome back to Little Reads. I'm going to read in the next chapter of the Faraway tree. Last time we read Saucepan Makes a Muddle. Today we're going to read What Can They Do Now? I am a dyslexic reader, so I will be making a few mistakes while reading books. So please do mind my reading, and let's see how they get on in this chapter. I'll find the page. It's a rather long book, so it's quite intimidating being saying all these words and being dyslexic, but I do like reading. And if I do make mistakes, please do comment in the comments below, and I'm trying to see if I can make myself read better. Okay, this is one of my friend's favorite books. Never read it, as I've mentioned before, but it's been enjoyable so far. They've had a few adventures during the book. Let's try and find the right page now. And the trees. Oh, what's that? Nope. Oh, okay. What can they do now? Okay. Joe, Moonface, Silky, and Saucepan sat down by the hole and thought hard. Silky began to cry. Saucepan Man looked most uncomfortable. He was very fond of Silky. Silky, please do forgive me for being so careless, he said in a small voice. I didn't mean to do it. Don't cry. You make me feel dreadful. Oh, it's all right, sobbed Silky, borrowing Moonface's handkerchief. I know you didn't mean to, but I can't help feeling sad when I think I won't ever be able to see my dear little room in the faraway tree anymore. Saucepan Man began to cry too. Tears dripped from a splash into his saucepan and kettles. He put his arm around Silky, and 2 or 3 kettle sprouts stuck into her. Don't, she said. You're sticking to me. Moonface, Joe, can't you think of anything to do? Can we possibly squeeze down if we hold our breath and make ourselves as small as we can? Quite possible, said. No, quite impossible, not quite possible. Quite impossible, said Moonface, gleaming. Gleaming, gleaming, gleaming. Moonface, gleaming. Gleaming, I'm not sure what that is. Listen, there's anybody coming up the ladder? Listen, there's somebody coming up the ladder. They heard voices, and soon a head popped out of the hole in the clouds. It's Rick. He stared in surprise at the 4 enormous people sitting by the hole. Climbed up and stood beside them, looking very, very small. They came up, Beth and Fanny. Their eyes nearly fell out of their heads when she saw how big Joe and his friends were. What happened? Cried Rick. We got worried about you didn't come home, Joe. Because now we got worried about you didn't we got worried about you didn't come home, Joe. So we climbed up to see where you were. But they but why are you so enormous? Joe told them. Silky sobbed into Moonface hanky. Beth put her arms around her. It was funny to see Silky so big. Beth's arms only went half around Silky's wrist. And you see, we can't get down the hole, said Joe. I don't know what to do, said the rookie suddenly. What? Oh, no, sorry, no. I know what we can do. I know what to do, said Rick suddenly. What? Cried everybody. Well, rub the hole with the spell and make it bigger, of course, said Rick. You'll you'll be able to get down it. Why ever didn't we think of that before? Cried Joe, jumping up. Saucepan, where can no, saucepan, where's that can with a spell in it? He picked up the can, but oh, it was completely empty. Every single drop had been spilled when the saucepan had fallen over. Well, never mind, said Moonface, cheering up. We can go and buy some more from that hobbit. Come on. They all went off. Rick, Beth, and Fanny looking very small indeed next to the others. They went up to the hobbit who had told them the spell. Can we have another can of spell you told us just now? Said Moonface, holding up the empty can. I don't have a drop left, said the goblin. I said hobbit. Why did I change the word hobbit, the word goblin to hobbit? Thinking of the Lord of the Rings, I think, and I changed the word goblin to hobbit. So my apologies for that. Just realized I had read it completely wrong. My head sometimes, as a dyslexic, I tend to make up words that are not there. Often what I do is scan the sentence before I actually read it, so I can try to sort of see it in my head before I read it. That's why I read the goblin word wrong and replaced it with hobbit, because I thought the word goblin and thought Lord of the Rings. So my apologies for that. Okay, I don't have a drop left, said the goblin, and I can't make any more till the full moon comes. It can only be made in the moonlight. Everybody looked so miserable that the goblin felt sorry for them. Why do you look so unhappy? He said. What has happened? Joe told him everything. The goblin listened with interest. Then he smiled. Well, my dear, he said, if you can't get a spell to make the hole big, why don't you buy a spell to make yourself small? Oh, brother, the green goblin. No, not oh, brother, my brother. My brother, the green goblin over there, sells that kind of spell. Only be careful not to put too much on yourself, as you may go smaller than you mean to be. Smaller than you mean to. There's no be, just mean to. They went over to the Green Goblin. He was yelling at the top of his voice. But my wonderful and most amazing spell. No, buy my most wonderful and amazing spell. It will make everything as small as you like. Do you have enemies? Rub them with this and you can shrink them to the size of a mouse. If your nose too big, rub it with this and you can make it the right size. Oh, wonderful, astonishing, amazing. Everyone hurried up. Moonface took some money out of his money bag. I'll have the spell, please, he said. The Green Goblin gave him a can. The spell the spell in it looked rather like paint, just as the others had done. Now, go slow, said the Goblin. You don't want to get too small. Try a little at a time. Moonface dabbed a little on Silky. She went a bit smaller at once. He dabbed again. She went smaller still. Is that the right size yet? Is she the right size yet? Said Moonface. Everybody stared at Silky. Not quite, said Beth. But she is almost. Moonface. So be careful with your next dab. Moonface was very careful. At the next dab of spell, Silky went to exactly her right size. She was pleased. Now, you, Joe, said Moonface. So he dabbed Joe and got Joe back to his right size again too. Then he tried dabbing the saucepan man. Soon got him right. His kettle and saucepans went right too. It was funny to watch them. Now I'll do you, Moonface said Joe. Now I'll do you, Moonface, said Joe. No thanks, I'll do myself, said Moonface. He dabbed the spell on himself and shrunk smaller. He dabbed again and went smaller still. He then stopped dabbing and put the brush down. You're not quite your original size yet, said Joe. I know, said Moonface, but I always thought I was a bit on the short side. Now I'm just about right. I always wanted to be a bit taller. I shan't rub anymore. I shan't rub anymore. Everyone laughed. It was funny to see Moonface a bit taller. Taller than usual. As they stood there, they laughed. A curious cold wind began to blow. Moonface looked around and then began to shout, "Quick, quick! The land of spells is on the move. Hurry before we get left behind." Everyone got a shock. Wow! It would never do. No, it would never do to be left behind. Just as everyone got small again, to go down the hole in the clouds. They all set off to the hole. The wind blew more and more strongly, and suddenly the sun went out. It was as if everybody had blown it out, thought John. At once darkness fell on the land of spells. Hold on, hold hands, cried John. We'll lose one another if we don't. They all took one another's hands and cried out their name to make sure everyone was dead. They stumbled on through the darkness. Here's the hole, cried Joe at last, and down he went. He felt the ladder and climbed down that too. The others followed one by one, pushing close behind the duck, longing to get down to the faraway tree they knew so well. How lovely it would be to sit in Moonface's room and feel safe, feel safe. By no, but down at the bottom of the ladder there was no faraway tree. Instead, to Joe's surprise, there was a narrow passage lit by swinging green lantern. Oh my goodness, he said to the Alfred. What's that? No. What's this? Where's the faraway tree? We've come down the wrong hole, groaned Moonface. Oh goodness, what bad luck. Well, where are we? Asked Rick in a wonder. I don't know, said Moonface. We'll better follow this passage and see where it leads to. It's no use climbing back and trying to find the right hole. We'd never find it in the dark. Anyway, I'm pretty sure the land of spell has moved on by now. Everyone felt very miserable. Joe led the way down the passage. He twisted and turned, went up and downstairs, and was lit here and there by the green lantern swinging from the roof. At last they came to a big yellow door. On it was a blue knocker, a blue bell, a blue mailbox, and a blue notice that read, Mr. Change About. Knock once, ring twice, and rattle the mailbox. Joe knocked once, very loudly, then rang twice, and everyone heard a bell going ring, ring. Then he rattled the mailbox. The door didn't open. It completely disappeared. It was so peculiar. 1 minute it was there, and the next it was gone, and there was nothing in front of them. They could see right into a big underground room. At the end of it was a roaring fire sat around fat people. What? They could see right into a big underground room. At the end of it, a roaring fire sat around fat person. That must be Mr. Changeabout, whispered Rick. There we go in. Oh, so where have all those friends have gone to? So they've gone to a whole different land now with Mr. Changeabout. So that is quite peculiar. That word was, I won't even remember seeing that word on a film the other day that came on TV. That's why I actually was able to read the word peculiar. So that is quite worrying. So all the friends have gone to a whole different land that they shouldn't be in. Well, let's see what happens next time. So next time we will be reading Mr. Changeabout and the Enchanter. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. So yes, the friends are in trouble now because they have no idea where they are now. So next, don't join me next time for the next adventure, and we find out who Mr. Changeabout is. So thank you for tuning in, and please, if you haven't seen my other videos of the Magic Faraway tree, please do go and check them out.